Good morning, everyone. Did you know that a blue whale's heart is as large as a small car? Amazing, right? Anyway, today I want to talk about Jonah and the whale. It's a story about listening and compassion, two qualities we all need more of. Jonah was asked by God to go to Nineveh, but he ran the other way. Can you believe that? Sometimes we too try to run from our responsibilities. And then there's the whale part, swallowed whole. Imagine being in the belly of a whale. It's like being in a very wet, very dark room, all alone. But you know, the whale wasn't a punishment, it was a rescue, a chance for Jonah to think and to pray. Sometimes our darkest moments bring us closer to the light. And when Jonah was finally ready, the whale gave him a second chance, right back on dry land. It shows us that it's never too late to change our path and make the right choices. So, what's our Nineveh, friends? What's the task or challenge we're running from because it seems too difficult or scary? Let's be more like Jonah after the whale. Let's face our challenges with courage and trust that we're not alone. Together, with faith, we can navigate the biggest whales in our lives. And Jonah, he really didn't want to go to Nineveh. He was scared and perhaps a bit judgmental. Aren't we all at times quick to judge rather than help? So off he went, in the opposite direction. But God's plans, they're not so easily avoided. It's kind of like trying to ignore your mom's call. You know she'll catch up with you eventually. The storm hit and Jonah knew he was the reason. It's a heavy feeling knowing our actions have consequences, not just for us, but for those around us. Into the sea he went, and then the whale. It's fascinating, isn't it? A creature so massive, yet it served as a sanctuary, a place for reflection. 3 days and 3 nights Jonah had time to think, to pray. Sometimes we too need to be swallowed by our circumstances to find clarity and purpose. And when Jonah was ready, truly ready, he was given another chance. Nineveh was saved not by Jonah's words, but by their willingness to listen and to change. This story, my friends, it's a reminder. It's never too late to turn around, to answer the call, to make a difference. What's your Nineveh? Are you running towards it or away from it? Let's be like Jonah, but maybe without the detour in a whale. Let's face our fears, embrace our responsibilities, and spread kindness and understanding wherever we go. So there Jonah was, trying to outrun his mission. He found himself on a boat amidst a tempest so fierce it seemed the sea itself was angry. The sailors, they were terrified, each praying to their own gods. And Jonah? He knew this storm was for him. Imagine the courage it took to say, "Throw me overboard, it's the only way." Sometimes the hardest thing is admitting we are the cause of our own storms. Down he went, into the depths, into the dark, but God's mercy is boundless. Even there a rescue awaited Jonah. A whale! Can you believe it? God sent a whale to save Jonah from drowning. It's a reminder that sometimes our salvation comes in the most unexpected forms. 3 days Jonah spent in that whale. 3 days to ponder, to pray, to prepare. It's never too late for a second chance, for redemption. And when Jonah was ready, truly ready, the whale delivered him to Nineveh's shores. A second chance not just for Jonah, but for all of Nineveh. Let us take from Jonah's tale the courage to face our fears, to admit our mistakes, and to embrace the second chances we are given. Imagine the scene, my dear friends. The sky angry with storm, the sea roaring with waves, and there, a man named Jonah, faced with a terrifying choice. The sailors, they were desperate, praying to every god they knew, but the storm, it only grew fiercer, as if demanding something more. And Jonah, he knew why the tempest raged. "I am the cause," he confessed. "Throw me overboard, and the sea will calm." Can you imagine the weight of that admission? The sailors hesitated. To throw a man into the sea, it's no small thing. But as the waves threatened to tear their ship apart, they made their choice. Overboard went Jonah, into the furious deep. The storm ceased at once, a sudden peace. The sailors were awestruck, their hearts turned to God. And Jonah? Swallowed by a whale, yet saved from drowning. In the belly of the beast, he found a place for reflection, for prayer. Let us take a moment to ponder, friends. Are we running from our own Nineveh? What storms might we be causing by our refusal to listen, to obey? Let Jonah's journey remind us that it's never too late to turn back, to say yes to God's call, even if it means being swallowed by our fears, only to be spit back out, transformed. And so, as Jonah was swallowed by the great fish, the storm ceased. It's a moment of profound silence, a sudden calm after such chaos. Imagine Jonah, enveloped in darkness, realizing the depth of his situation. Yet even there, he found the strength to pray, to reach out to God. It's fascinating, isn't it? Even in the belly of the beast, Jonah found hope. He prayed, acknowledging his mistakes and expressing gratitude for God's mercy. It teaches us something profound about forgiveness. No matter how far we run, no matter the depths we find ourselves in, it's never too late to seek forgiveness. 3 days and 3 nights, a time of reflection and transformation. It wasn't just Jonah in the fish. It was his heart, his faith undergoing change. And what of us? What are the great fish in our lives? Those moments that swallow us whole, forcing us to confront who we are and who we want to be. Let's remember Jonah's prayer. In moments of despair, when all seems lost, let us too find the courage to pray, to hope, and to trust in God's unfailing love. For just as the fish eventually released Jonah, so too can we be freed from our darkest depths, reborn into light and purpose, if only we have faith. And just like that, the whale obeyed God's command, spitting Jonah out onto dry land. What a sight that must have been. There, Jonah stood, drenched but on solid ground again. Can you imagine the gratitude, the relief he felt in that moment? It's a powerful reminder, friends, no matter how far we've strayed, God is always ready to give us another chance. Jonah was grateful. Oh yes, he promised to obey God this time. It shows that it's never too late to correct our course and follow the right path. So, what's our takeaway from Jonah's adventure? It's about obedience, yes, but also about mercy. God's mercy is bigger than the biggest whale, deeper than the deepest sea. Let's ponder on that. How can we show mercy in our lives? How can we be more obedient to what we're called to do? Remember, like Jonah, we might find ourselves in unlikely places of reflection, but it's what we do after that counts. Let's make our second chances count. And so Jonah walked through Nineveh, carrying a message that would change the fate of a city. Imagine the scene, a single man against a city of sin, his voice ringing out, "In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed." But here's the twist, my friends. The people of Nineveh, they listened. From the greatest to the least, they believed Jonah's warning. Even the king, can you believe it? He rose from his throne, set aside his royal robes, and he humbled himself in sackcloth and ashes. What a sight that must have been. An entire city turning from their ways, united in repentance. It's a powerful testament to the power of change. And so, Nineveh was spared. Not because of Jonah's eloquence, but because of their willingness to listen, to change. It teaches us, doesn't it? That no heart is too hard, no city too lost, that it cannot be turned toward the light with genuine repentance. Let's not wait for our own 40 days warning. Let's be like the Ninevites, quick to listen, quick to change, showing compassion and humility every day. And so, when God saw the true change of heart within the people of Nineveh, he chose mercy over destruction. What a profound demonstration of love. Jonah, however, struggled with this. He couldn't understand how God could forgive such a city. It reminds us that human judgment is often limited, isn't it? But God's response to Jonah is a lesson for us all. Shouldn't I care about the great city of Nineveh and all its people? God asks. It's a question that invites us to see beyond our prejudices. It's easy to hold on to anger or judgment, to decide who is worthy of mercy and who is not. Yet God shows us a different way, a way of compassion with boundless love. This story isn't just about Jonah or Nineveh or even a whale. It's about understanding the depth of God's mercy. It's about realizing that no one is beyond redemption. How often do we find ourselves in Jonah's shoes, quick to judge, slow to forgive? It's a human trait, but one we're called to challenge within ourselves. Let us take from this story a reminder to extend mercy, to seek understanding, to embrace compassion. For in doing so, we align our hearts with God's. And let's not forget, even Jonah was given a second chance. It shows us that growth and understanding are always possible, no matter where we start from. So my friends, let's ask ourselves, how can we be more like God in this story? How can we show mercy and love even when it's hard? May we leave here today, inspired by God's mercy, challenged to be agents of compassion in our own Ninevehs, wherever and whatever they may be. And so, my friends, Jonah learned a profound lesson. God's mercy knows no bounds. It extends to all corners of the earth, to every creature, every city, every heart willing to turn back to him. The story, it's not just about the past. It's a reminder for us today. How often do we limit our compassion, our mercy, to only those we think deserve it? But God, in his infinite wisdom, shows us a different way. He cares for Nineveh as much as he cares for Jonah. There's no hierarchy in his love. Imagine if we lived by that example, if we extended our hand, our heart, to the ones we've judged too harshly, believed too far gone, Jonah's journey teaches us that transformation is always possible, not just for others, but for ourselves. Every moment, we're given the chance to be better, to do better. Let's be inspired by Jonah's eventual obedience, by Nineveh's willingness to change. Let's not wait for a sign as drastic as a whale or a city's near destruction. Today, let's decide to listen more closely to God's call, to spread His love and mercy, to be a light in the darkness just as He intends for us all.